Civic Center TV and 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake, West Bloomfield, Kego Harbor, Sylvan Lake. 89.3 Lakes FM. It's the Megacast, an hour-long TV and radio streaming show keeping you informed on the day-to-day news. Live from West Bloomfield, we're bringing you the news, updates, and information impacting communities around Michigan. Join our host, Tyler Kieft, as he talks with community members, business leaders, and professional experts about the stories that impact you. You're watching the Megacast on Civic Center TV. Like what you see? Beautiful works of art, masterworks of metal, and accomplishments of artistry will be on display near you. All kinds of artists from all walks of life come together to celebrate their skill and appreciate their work's beauty. Hot Works presents the 2023 Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. Stop by July 29th and 30th between 2 and 10 p.m. between Powers and Daly off of Orchard Lake Road.
When the temperatures are chilly, being together warms the soul. Keep the winter fun going. Help protect yourself and those around you by keeping your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy, and if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
You're listening to your radio homes for the Megacast, 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake and 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills. Today's edition of the Megacast begins now. Welcome to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. Today we'll be talking to a number of people about topics of interest and importance to Michiganders just like you. Let's begin with what's making headlines on our local news page on civiccentertv.com. Our top story comes from the Detroit Free Press's Nusrat Rahman. This week, the public in the local area had their chance to express their opinions on the service of electrical utilities DTE Energy and Consumers Energy just weeks following 2 major storms that knocked out power for hundreds of thousands of southeast Michiganders, some for several days, and some for several days multiple times. The town hall organized by the Michigan Public Service Commission saw more than 80 people flock to Dearborn-Fordson High School to make their voices heard, express frustration with service, communication, and more from these 2 utilities. Said Public Service Commission Chairperson Catherine Peritic, quote, "When the power goes out, the people lose. They lose the ability to stay warm in the winter or cool in the summer. They lose food. We're working diligently to make sure that we identify the root of the problems that are facing our electrical grid," end closed quote. 72-year-old Diane McLean from Dearborn said she lost power for 5 days. Retired and on a fixed income, with hotel prices sky high as many were near full or fully booked in her local area. She said she was, quote, "freezing," end closed quote, and now she is behind on her bills and says her life has been a struggle ever since. And that her $35 credit from DTE Energy for being out of power for over 4 days, well, it's a little too little, too late for her. Tara Holcomb from Detroit, living near Eastern Market, says she has repeat issues with power outages, and this has gone on for nearly a year. In fact, she lost power on Monday. Remember Monday? Yesterday? Not today, but the day before. Remember how it was bright, sunny, storm-free Monday? Yeah, no power for Tara Holcomb. She added, quote, 90% of the outages that are in my neighborhood are when there are no storms. It was a nice day. The sun was shining, end closed quote. This was one of the first opportunities for the general public to speak their minds on these utilities and their service, and the Michigan Public Service Commission nearly a week since lawmakers in Lansing questioned executives from the utilities over these issues and also their measly $25 and $35 account credits to customers. This is really the first opportunity that the Michigan Public Service Commission got to say their piece, and that those in the general public, particularly in our local area, were able to speak up to that commission specifically, which does oversee to some extent the pricing of these utilities, especially as they're looking to raise their rates. Just weeks before the storms, DTE Energy requested a rate increase to the Michigan Public Service Commission of $622 million. For you, that means an extra $12.46 per month on your bill. Quote, to support DTE's carbon reduction plans and the state's goals for cleaner energy and the electrical distribution system to improve power reliability, as well as the associated depreciation and property tax increases, and closed quote. That's a whole lot of word. That's a big word salad to explain that we want to up your prices because the state wants to go green, go white, and the price of improving our grid is going to be so high that we have to raise your rates. We need an extra $622 million every year in order to do that. If you haven't had a chance to speak your mind yet, you didn't get out to Dearborn Fordson last night in order to speak on this issue, there's going to be another town hall, this time virtually via Microsoft Teams from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Tuesday. That is linked in this article. And additionally, if you have not had a chance to have your voice heard, you're not going to be able to attend the virtual hearing tonight or other hearings that have happened recently or in the near future, you can send an email to mpscedockets@michigan.gov or send U.S. mail, snail mail, to Executive Secretary, Michigan Public Service Commission, P.O. Box 30221, Lansing, Michigan 48909. All this info, I know it's a lot, that was right there, is linked in this article on our website, civiccentertv.com. Go to our local news page. In this first article, click on the link either by clicking on the thumbnail picture that will just that will be listed there, or by clicking on the actual thumbnail, the actual headline itself, and that will take you to this article from the Detroit News and their team there doing great work. Sorry, Detroit Free Press and their team doing great work on this story. As this continues to develop, there's going to be more opportunities for public comment, more opportunities for government to comment on this. Certainly, I would believe more hearings, all really across the board, for this to be investigated, look into what went wrong, what is currently going wrong in the operations of these utilities that makes these continued power outages more and more problematic, especially as we're expecting to see more and more severe weather popping up season to season all throughout the year. This is going to continue to be an issue. Right now, we're at the tail end of winter, at least as far as the weather is concerned. It is technically spring, March 21st, the first day of spring here in 2023, first full day of spring in 2023. And so we're expecting, after, as we always do after winter, next thing that comes up is spring, and in the tail end of spring, you get into severe weather season, going between some of the cooler months of the year and the warmest months of the year. That is chock full of power outages. And for those customers that have already lost power all throughout the winter, now they're going to be concerned about what's going to happen over the summer when it's not going to be super cold outside. I'm going to be freezing in my home. It's going to be the opposite side of that spectrum, where it's going to be so piping hot in my home, I'm not going to have the electricity in order to cool the place down, or keep my refrigerator and my freezer running so I can have ice and I can have water and cool myself down during that time. What are we to do? This is a repeat issue, and that's why it's such a critical issue at the state level. And the Michigan Public Service Commission's looking into it. Lawmakers in Lansing really grilled DTE Energy and Consumers Energy last week on this issue, and I'm sure they're not going to be done anytime soon, especially as DTE Energy in particular continues to pursue a rate hike that for you would mean about $12.46 per month of an increase on your electrical bill, or just a little bit under half of what Consumers Energy gave you back if you were out of power for 4 days or more with that $25 credit, and a little bit under that even more, under 50% for those with DTE who got $35 one time for being out of power for more than 4 days. Additionally, making headlines today from the Detroit News' Kara Berg, Oakland County this week announced that it is creating a new position, Chief Public Defender, and has named Paulette Lofton as the first to lead in this position. Lofton has over 30 jury trials of experience, including as the public defender most recently for the Oxford High School shooter who pled guilty to charges including terrorism and first-degree murder in October of 2022. Lofton will begin her position as the chief public defender for Oakland County on April 17th. Said Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter, quote, Paulette has a passion for an indignant defense combined with the knowledge and skill set needed to meet the challenge of building Oakland County's first public defender's office, and closed quote. No, so I continue on. He said, quote, she is well regarded by other defense lawyers, prosecutors, and judges, and closed quote. So this is the first public defender's office position that has been made by Oakland County. She's the first appointed chief public defender, and this is a critical part of our judicial system. For those that are not able to hire a lawyer on their own, an attorney is, of course, required to be appointed to them by the court system in order to make sure that they are properly represented in court. You have a right to be properly represented, to be dutifully represented in a court of law, whether you are being prosecuted or whether or not you are on the prosecutorial side against somebody else. You have a right to representation. And so for Oakland County, considering the number of cases that they get on a yearly basis, to be able to have that internal office that's overseeing, at least in part, and this article goes into more detail about how that will work, at least in part overseeing the output of public defenders to defendants who are not able to hire an attorney themselves or don't want to seek hiring an attorney themselves. This is a step forward for Oakland County, and in this case, Paulette Lofton, plenty of experience as a public defender in some tough cases that include cases that were punishable by up to life in prison, that according to a press release from Oakland County Executive David Coulter's office, 14 of her 30 jury trials included those in which the defendant was facing up to life in prison. And that includes in the case of the Oxford High School shooter who's facing life in prison without parole pending a Miller hearing that's based on Miller versus Alabama, determining whether a juvenile is able to face life in prison without parole and whether that's an appropriate sentence. That has yet to be fully determined in the case of the Oxford High School shooter, who is now 16 years old and was 15 at the time of the shooting that claimed 4 lives at Oxford High School. But in this case, Paulette Lofton, my apologies, will be beginning her position as the Oakland County Chief Public Defender in mid-April. April 17th is when that will begin. You can learn more information, click through to this article, and read more from the Detroit News on our website, civiccentertv.com, on our local news page. Also making headlines today from the Royal Oak Review's Mike Corey. If you've parked in Royal Oak lately, or ever really, you probably know that you should always plan to get back to your meter on time or very shortly after, or you're going to be quickly fined by city officials. That has become a sticking point in the uber walkable city and downtown area. Now the Royal Oak Commission has directed city staff and administrators to work with the Municipal Parking Services, or MPS, to change the policies regarding downtown parking and the downtown parking network. Said Mayor Michael Fournier, quote, we've been working urgently and aggressively with MPS. We're conveying to them the expectations and the needs of our city, and I believe we're at a point now where we have an understanding that the system as is not working, and we need to make some significant changes, and that both parties agree at this point that those changes are going to be made, and closed quote. Among the changes being discussed, and nothing is official or has been changed in the policies just yet, longer grace periods at the end of a meter before fines are incurred when you return, upping those from currently 5 minutes to about 15 minutes per this proposal, and increasing the maximum time that you can have on your meter to about 3 hours. That way you're able to spend more time in the downtown area and in the city without having to go back to your meter and re-up it after it's done, or if you're a few minutes late to your meter, it gives you up to a quarter of an hour to get back there before you're in a position where you could be fined. And that's going to be big, especially in a city like Royal Oak and a downtown area. It's such a critical point of tourism for people coming into Oakland County, coming into these cities, and patronizing these businesses, many of them local mom and pop shop kind of businesses, small businesses that are the backbone economically of a lot of these cities. And keeping those businesses in business means you got to get people walking in, got to get people purchasing things, and you got to be able to do that without the frustration of coming back to their car after they go to a shop or they go to a restaurant or whatever they may be doing within the downtown area in a city like Royal Oak or Birmingham or Ferndale or downtown Detroit or any other of our very walkable cities here in Southeast Michigan and around the Great Lakes State. You know, people want to be able to enjoy their time in those cities without worrying about something like parking and having to either detour their time downtown to go back to their meter and re-up it, or enjoy a full day and then it's ruined at the end by the frustration of now I've got a parking ticket that I either have to fight because what the heck, it's been 6 minutes and I'm getting back here. It's not egregiously long after my meter expired and now I'm getting fined, or they're going to be a little bit late because of traffic or other concerns, and now they're going to end up being fined despite them being more than willing to return on time. That grace period expanding is going to make that a little bit more comfortable for those in the downtown area. Maybe a little bit more delays during busy times with those meters, as a lot of parking may be taken up during certain times of the year in a city like Royal Oak or in other walkable areas. But this is a nice step forward, at least that they're recognizing there is a bit of a problem there with the parking in Royal Oak, and the City Commission, administrators, and MPS working to see what they can do to fix that. Really good article here from the Royal Oak Review, which is a hyper-local newspaper through C&G News, much like here in our flagship station, Civic Center TV in West Bloomfield. We have the West Bloomfield Beacon. Same umbrella in Royal Oak with the Royal Oak Review. They did a great job covering this, and there's a lot of detail in there that you can read to see kind of what's going on in this discussion, and of course to keep up with it there as well. They have reached out to MPS, to Municipal Parking Services, and have not yet had yet to receive a response at the time of publishing this article. But you can read it, click through on our website, civiccentertv.com, on our local news page. And to continue on and just give some final information on this, the mayor also said, Mayor Fournier, quote, "This is a really good step in the right direction, and it's incumbent upon MPS and our city staff to get to a point quickly where we can ink an improved deal and ensure that, people have the chance to look at and make sure that it's reflecting to the best of our ability the changes we need to avoid these frustrations that are apparent, clear, and real," and closed quote. So this is a negotiation between their parking services contractor, Municipal Parking Services, and the city to change those policies and then to enact them. Because even in the most walkable areas, even in areas that are getting a lot of foot traffic and a lot of people that want to wander and want to visit and want to patronize local businesses, run into those kinds of problems. Even in places, not quite in our local area, but in East Lansing. It was funny, I saw a tweet yesterday that Tyson Walker, a star player on the MSU basketball team, returned to East Lansing yesterday before they go back to the NCAA tournament. Will be in New York City at Madison Square Garden playing on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday is the 24th, Friday. Friday is the 24th, because today is the 21st on a Tuesday. 3 days, it would be Friday. The 24th, that would be in New York City. But he returned to East Lansing yesterday and found that he had a parking ticket shortly after he was roaming around East Lansing yesterday from the ever-beloved PACE, the parking services organizers on Michigan State University's campus. So it's happening everywhere in walkable towns all across Michigan. People frustrated with getting back to their meter a few minutes afterwards, or a little bit of time afterwards, maybe upwards of 15, 20 minutes within that what should really be a grace period, and having a parking ticket that they have to address with the city. Royal Oak taking that bull by the horns and hopefully going to come up with a finalized solution very soon with Municipal Parking Services and change the way that you will be able to roam around Royal Oak without having to worry so much about getting back to your meter. Finally making headlines today on our local news page on CivicCenterTV.com from Maisha Johnson at the Detroit News. Metro Detroit is once again victorious in the Mega Millions lottery as a Southfield player found the luck of the Irish on St. Patrick's Day, buying a Mega Millions ticket that was worth $1 million. The winning numbers 26, 28, 29, 39, and 49 were purchased at the CVS on 10 Mile Road in Southfield, but the winner has yet to claim their winnings. If this is your ticket, you have a couple ways that you can go about it. You either got to go to the Mega Millions website and go through all of those steps, or you can simply call 844-887-6836, 844-887-6836, 6836 and schedule an appointment to collect your $1,000,000. If not, I mean, you can always mail your ticket here, and I'll gladly do it for you. Of course, I'm kidding. I'm not encouraging that. We're not stepping out of our bounds here. I'm just joking around about that. But I'm also not. So go ahead if that's your choice. Mega Millions tickets are valid for 1 year from the drawing date, so you have until next year on St. Paddy's Day to get that ticket resolved and collect your $1,000,000. That's 6 zeros. Find that ticket. Get to the CVS in Southfield and claim your ticket, or call the Mega Millions. Again, if that is your ticket, you have 1 year from the date that you purchased it to collect your winnings. 844-887-6836. So click through to this article and read more information on it. Tickets are sold in 45 states, as well as the District of Columbia in Washington, D.C., and the U.S. Virgin Islands. All those headlines making news today and always on our website, civiccentertv.com, on our local news page. At the top of the page, we have public health links to the CDC, the MDHHS, and the Oakland County Health Division about COVID-19 or other news and information you need to know to protect yourself and the public health in our local area, in our state, and around the U.S. We have a great show ahead on this edition of the Megacast. Coming up next, we're just a few days away from the end of property tax season here in Oakland County. And if you're struggling to pay your property taxes, the Oakland County Treasurer's Office has measures in place to help you out, and they want to help you before you face foreclosure in those years after you've missed some of those back taxes. Treasurer Robert Wittenberg joined us recently on the program, and we'll have that up next on the Megacast.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
There are many different kinds of noses. Our noses can sniff out all kinds of things. Good things and bad things. Your nose knows if those sniffles are just a cold, allergies, or COVID-19. So swab it. Test it. It's good to know.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
I'm Steve Eiserman of the Detroit Red Wings, and I think every child in Michigan deserves a safe, healthy, and happy childhood. Can we build a state where Children Trust Michigan isn't just a name, but something our kids believe? Please support Children Trust Michigan as the voice for children and families by visiting the website to learn more.
Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. Learn more about our program and keep up to date with us on our website at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find links to every one of our partnering stations across the Great Lakes State and the Oakland County area, including our co-flagship My Michigan TV, as well as find all of our full programs and each individual segment on demand as well. So whether you're able to tune in for our full live show from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, you tune in for part of it and only join us segment by segment whenever you have a chance. We thank you. or if you're unable to tune in for some reason or for the entire show, you can always find us on demand on your time anytime. CivicCenterTV.com/Megacast. Well, we are in the middle of tax season, including our local taxes and our property taxes. And if you're struggling to pay yours, or you have been for a number of years, you may be reaching a point where you could be up for foreclosure. And there's a way to avoid that before you get to that point, and that is by going to your local treasurer's office here in Oakland County and working out a payment plan. As after your local municipality doesn't collect those taxes, they often go to the next level, and Oakland County steps in as a mediator to try to collect those back taxes, but also to help you in these cases to make sure you don't end up out of your home because you were unable to pay your taxes. Joining us on the program to discuss some of these steps and these helps that are in place for you at both the local and the state level in order to help you pay your back taxes is Oakland County Treasurer Robert Wittenberg. Robert, thanks for being with us.
Morning, Tyler. How are you?
Doing all right. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thanks for having me. And we're talking specifically about property taxes. Right. So income taxes, those are due, your returns in April. That is separate from what we'll be discussing. So just to let people know.
And so at the county-wide level, much like at the municipal level, you're collecting property taxes, and that goes towards all the different programs through Oakland County that support our local area, support our local communities too. And so how is that coordinated overall with the municipalities and from the county down to individual households?
So in our office, we're in charge of collecting delinquent taxes. So ultimately, you pay your local taxes to like West Bloomfield or whatever community you live in. You pay your current year taxes. If they come over delinquent, so in essence, you don't make them in on time, usually by the end of February. If you don't make those payments on time, then in essence, we become the collections agent for those taxes. So we cash flow the local community, we make them whole, and then we're in charge of collecting those taxes. So we make sure we have our delinquent tax revolving fund, our DTRF fund, that is able to fund all the local communities. There's 63 cities, villages, and townships, and we got to make sure that they have the resources necessary to continue providing services. So we're like a backstop. And then based on state statute, we are then required to collect those delinquent taxes. And so that's why this month, March 31st, is the tax deadline. So for those people that owe 2020 or prior year taxes, March 31st is the deadline for them to pay or for them to reach out to our office to prevent foreclosure. So that's why we're doing kind of a robust outreach to the community to tell people that we are here to help and that we want to help them to prevent foreclosure, because foreclosure impacts the entire community, not just the people that could possibly be foreclosed, but their neighbors and the community. And so we're doing a lot of work to just remind people, please call us. We are here to help. The number one thing that if you forget everything we talk about today, number one is that we are here to help in the treasurer's office.
And just how common of an issue is this in Oakland County? Because when people think about Oakland County, they're not often thinking about people having a whole lot of struggle, generally speaking, with paying their taxes and paying their other bills. But like in many other communities, these are issues that can span from people of all walks of life.
That's right. And we are fortunate to be a pretty great county, right? And for the most part, people are thriving in our communities, but there are some people that have their challenges, and especially when we're talking about after the lingering effects of COVID. And so one of the things we've been talking about that we're really trying to remind people of or make people aware of is there are programs that the state administers. So it's federal funding that came from, COVID relief dollars that the state is running. So MISHDA, the Housing and Development Authority, has two programs that I want to make sure people are aware of. One of them is called MIHAF. It's M-I for Michigan, H-A-F. So the Michigan Homeowners Assistance Fund. And the state will offer a grant. So it's a grant to pay back delinquent taxes, mortgage, condo fees, utility bills, up to $25,000 per household. And they'll do for 2019 moving forward. So 2019, 2020, 2021, and even 2022 tax years, utilities. And so this is a program that we're really trying to make sure people are aware of. There's also a program called My Hope, which is to help people, so MIHOPE, and people can look that up as well. And that's for upgrades to your heating and cooling, roof repairs, windows, those kind of things. And so those are programs that we've really been trying to make sure people are aware of. And then if they do owe those taxes to us, then we want to work with them. We want to get them on a repayment agreement to get them caught up, to save them on those fees and interest rate that the state mandates. But so there are a lot of people that are impacted in our community. Overall, I would say about 96% of people never interact with our office. Again, they only come over to us if they are delinquent. So it's about 4% we work with. And then it's an even smaller percentage when we're talking about the foreclosure, because it's a 3-year process. So if you miss your taxes the first year, you're late, then it comes over to us. And then there's another couple years that we're sending letters, we're reaching out, we're trying to work with you to prevent foreclosure. So foreclosure is like the last case scenario. And again, it's almost it's about a 3-year process. So the amount of people that are subject to foreclosure, that percentage is really, really small here in Oakland County.
Oakgov.com/treasurer is the website to go for more information on delinquent taxes, as well as property tax information for Oakland County. And you can even pay your property taxes now throughout the month of March and beyond on their website. Again, oakgov.com/treasurer. You can request a statement as well by phone call, 248-858-0611, 248-858-0611. Joining us on the Megacast is Oakland County Treasurer Robert Wittenberg as we talk about tax season and collecting these back property taxes here in Oakland County. And for a lot of people that are in these sort of situations, it's a tough spot for them to be in, and it's a tough, I would imagine it's very tough to swallow your pride and go to the county and say, hey, I'm having trouble paying these taxes. There's a reason why I haven't paid my taxes in a couple of years, or God forbid in a few years, and I'm coming close to facing foreclosure because, and I would imagine too, in a lot of these cases, they're worried I'm going to get in trouble. They're going to report me to the IRS. I'm going to have so many different issues, and it just compounds that anxiety. So how does your office work with these individuals, with these families, with these households to ease some of those pressures they may be feeling and take them through these different steps that they have in place to protect them and ultimately to protect these municipalities also who are owed those taxes?
And that's a great point, right? That there are people that are they're prideful or they're scared, but we always tell people we are here to help, right? We will work with you with compassion. If you're, we don't know you need help unless you tell us you need help, unless you reach out to us. And so we are, we send letters, we have personal service. So someone that visits the property, like we're doing all the outreach that we can to try to get in touch with people. But again, we don't know they need help unless they reach out to us. So if they call us, we actually have what are called our taxpayer assistance meetings. We refer to them as TAMs in our office. They are one-on-one confidential meetings that we have, and now you can do them over the phone or Zoom if need be, but they're confident. we treat each person delinquent taxes for Oakland County residents. So that program, they've kind of expedited the process a little bit. It took some months when it first got started last year. This year, people are applying and they're getting approved within about 3 to 4 weeks, which is a pretty efficient program. So people have to show that they had some kind of COVID impact. They're pretty lenient on that, though. So if you can show any kind of loss of income, increased expenses, health-related issues because of COVID, then you can qualify. There's also income tests as well, but we want to make sure that people apply just to see if they are qualified. And like I said, we've had over 400 and something Oakland County residents who have been approved for this program, and it's a lot of money, and it's been saving a lot of people.
You can find more information and book your own taxpayer assistance meeting if you're in need of some of these services at oakgov.com/treasurer, oakgov.com/treasurer. You can call them as well, 248-858-0611. Again, the phone number 248-858-0611, or send them an email, treasurer@oakgov.com. These are open to anybody here in Oakland County that may be owing property taxes from dating as far back as 2020, as you reach that 3-year limit where you become up for potentially foreclosure. So if you're in that situation right now, you've got until March 31st, and you can reach out, and Oakland County wants to hear from you. And Robert, we have a few more minutes with you before we'll need to go. Robert Wittenberg is the Oakland County Treasurer with us on the Megacast today to talk about this issue. Anything else that we should know about this process, or what people should be considering as they're going into this process to make it as easy to communicate with Oakland County about what they need and about the situation that they're in, so they can resolve this with your office?
Absolutely, and again, that's why we're really getting out here. It's a full court press, letting people know that we're here to help. So we're doing newspaper ads, we'll be on TV, making the rounds to let people know that we are here to help. Again, it boils down to us. If we don't know you need help, then we can't help you. So we are doing our best to reach out to you. We just need you to reciprocate, call us. Again, we are compassionate within our office. We want to work with you. Call us, email us, come to our office here in Pontiac. Just please, we want to work with you. So it's an easy process to at least make that initial call. We'll work with you one-on-one. We'll try to address your unique situation, but we're here to help.
And just before we let you go, Treasurer, thinking about this from the perspective of those that may be going through this, if they are able to communicate and get this process going and ultimately get to the other side where they have broken even, in some situations they may be in a space in their life where even after they get back on track with their taxes, they may still struggle. Are there programs that are in place for them at that point to help them continue to pay their taxes and not get behind again?
So there are some, not from our office specifically, okay. But we tell people to call 211, which is the United Way. They can kind of put you in touch with some programs that are out there. Within our office, we have our Financial Empowerment Center. So we have a financial coach, which I think would be helpful. So the goal is to get you caught up, but then it's also to kind of evaluate your budget and kind of look at, as the money comes in and your expenses, and try to get you in a position where you can continue to thrive within our community, and not have delinquent taxes, right? Because as soon as you go delinquent, unfortunately, like I said, there are those state mandated fees and interest that is added, and we want to prevent that from happening. We want to try to save people money. We're very fiscally responsible within our office. We want to show people that way as well, for their own personal budget.
oakgov.com/treasurer is the website for more information, and you can also call the Oakland County Treasurer's Office at 248-858-0611 for more information. Treasurer, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much, and then next time I'll come in and talk some March Madness. We can talk some basketball.
Absolutely. It's perfect time of the year for that, but first, let's get through the property tax season, and then we'll move on to basketball. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to have the treasurer on to talk about this. You have until March 31st. There's still plenty of time, 10 days left. So oakgov.com/treasurer has all the information you need to know if you're in a position where you need some help paying back taxes and avoiding foreclosure. You know someone that is in that position. You can point them to this resource if they're in Oakland County or even in their local counties too in our surrounding area that may have similar helps and resources through the county office. At least point them in the right direction and see what they can do in order to prevent themselves from going into foreclosure. Oakland County wants you to stay in your home. They don't want you to lose your home if it can be avoided. And so steps like this are those that you can take to put together a plan and show your municipality and the county and the state that you are working toward paying those back taxes, because we all go through some tough times here and there, and especially right now in the financial world that we're in and the economy that we're in with the way things are. It can be very tough to pay for these bills with up expenses also being a factor in your daily life, and you've got to choose food for your family or being a little bit late or late entirely on your property taxes. That's a really tough choice for somebody to make. And so if you have the ability to do so, swallow that pride and go to the county. They want to help you get out from under this issue as swiftly as you possibly can without the added issue and the added frustration and the added worry of potentially losing your home. oakgov.com/treasurer for more information. We'll take a quick break on the Megacast. On the other side, one of over 300 charities and nonprofits supported on the Share Detroit platform will join us right here on the Megacast.
Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important.
And now the same is true in the face of flu.
Influenza has the power to infect millions.
But it's easy to protect yourself, your family, and your community.
The flu vaccine is safe and effective. And with COVID-19 still around,
it's essential. Together we can face flu season head on.
Visit michigan.gov/flu.
Many people are feeling overwhelmed and struggling with mental wellness these days. So be kind to your mind. Give yourself permission to breathe. Share your feelings. You are not alone. Have hope. Talk to a Stay Well counselor for free confidential help 24/7 through the COVID-19 hotline.
Ronnie started doing prescription pills at the age of 15, and by 19, he died. If your child is struggling with drug use, try not to be too proud to reach out for help. Don't be worried about what the neighbor will think or your family. Just get your child the help they need. Sometimes it's the hard road to take, but the hard road is nothing compared to living with the fact that your child is no longer with you.
There's hope and help at drugfree.org.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. You can stay up to date with us and all of our full shows and each individual interview on demand on civiccentertv.com/megacast. There you'll also find links to all of our partnering stations throughout Oakland County, including those in your local area, to keep up to date with what's going on in your hometown and in the other 23 hours of the day that you're not spending with us each and every weekday, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 right here on the Megacast. civiccentertv.com/megacast is the place to go for all of that. Joining us now on the program is Meredith Reese, the Chief Integrated and Behavioral Health Officer of Vista Maria, one of over 300 charities and nonprofits supported on the Share Detroit platform. Meredith, thanks for being with us today.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
Glad to have you on with us today to talk about this because it's a really important issue that your organization covers and does on multiple levels. So tell us about Vista Maria and the background of your organization and some of the services that you provide.
Oh, sure. Vista Maria was founded by the Sisters of the Good Shepherd in 1883. And since then, they really had the momentum and the passion in serving women and children. And throughout the years, we carried out that mission. And most importantly, our mission is to deliver innovative care, treatment, and education, focus on restorative relationships in order for vulnerable youth to be able to believe in their self-worth, heal, and build the skills to succeed. And how do we do that? Most importantly, is through our programs, through our residential treatment programs, foster care and adoption, transitional living programs. We do have a multitude of after-school programs and also focus on a great deal of education through our middle school and high school programming.
And tell us more about the new family engagement model that you're rolling out, because there's so many different ways to approach these issues, but you're doing it in a much more unique way that you have designed yourself.
So thank you, Tyler. Definitely this is pose a great deal of excitement for all of our teams when we talk about engaging families and how the best way to do that. The one thing is that our families are in the driver's seat. And so with our family-driven and youth-engaged model, it really encompasses just that. One of our philosophy of care components is family united. So we unconditionally accept and also believe in the power of families and communities. So we want to build a model that, again, that depicts just that. One of the things that we have in the model is that everyone deserves a family. Every individual deserves a family member that's well connected. So whether that is a birth family member, a foster family member, or anyone through extended family or through a family member of choice, it could be someone in the community that's well connected. So it's our job partner with our families to ensure that we afford that opportunity to ensure our kids always have some sort of a family connection. Next is parent partnership. One of the things that we uniquely have done here is to ensure that we have added a role called the parent ambassador. The parent ambassador is someone who is partnering with the family unit and actually partner with them throughout this journey, whether it's through one of our treatment programs or other support programs that we have here on campus. A very unique role because it's part of our staff members. They actually provide the guidance along with our parent advisory council to ensure that we put in the best foot forward and dedication for families. Next is family resilience. Although many of the families that we may engage and support, they go through many challenges. But that doesn't mean that it describes as how this family will actually continue, throughout the years through these challenges. So we definitely identify those resources and those supports to be able to navigate through those challenges and the ability to be able to bounce back and recover as necessary. And then we conclude with this model of a sense of strong families, strong communities. So as we work through those resiliencies factors and we start to build stronger families and they feel like they have accomplished their goals, again, the families in the driver's seat. So whatever they set forth as a plan, we as the treaters or the supporters of those goals, assure that the family does achieve them. And so with that, builds one strong family at a time and of course strengthen the overall communities.
And through these various forms of trauma that a child or family may experience, whether it is human trafficking or it is violence or some other issue that does come up, and there's so many of them, that you mentioned that family reunification, if it's possible, if it's safe for everybody involved, is so critical. Why is that such a critical part of this? And just what goes into that process of reunifying this family? Because it's not as simple as we're reconnecting these people. There are relationships to mend. There are mutual forms of trauma that need to be addressed for the individual and that collective group. This is not a simple issue.
No, it's not a simple issue. And through our mission, focus on restorative relationships. You're right, there are quite a bit of relationships that need to be mended. And that is critical through nature of our therapy, through family therapy work, through family specific activities that we have here on our campus. And also too, to understand that, again, the youth whom she identifies or he identifies as being part of family, those are the family connections that we really need to work and to really just strengthen. And that does take time. However, us coming from that strong perspective that it is crucial that a family member be connected, because we know youth actually thrive, learn better, promote safety and well-being when connected with family or whomever that they may consider to be part of that family unit. So as it takes time, none of us gives up with that perspective, because everyone is worth it to be able to have that family connection always. And we do that through that multitude of treatment elements, through our residential treatment programs, to really connecting to potential foster families and so forth, to be able to care for the youth and be able to continue to thrive as necessary.
We're joined on the program today by Meredith Reese from Vista Maria, the Chief Integrated and Behavioral Health Officer of the organization. You can find more information in a couple of places. Either go to Share Detroit's website on sharedetroit.org, where you can learn more about Vista Maria and 335 other charities and nonprofits and counting, or go directly to their website at vistamaria.org. Vistamaria.org is their website, and you can also give them a phone call as well at 313-271-3050 or toll free 800-7VISTA-6, 800-7VISTA-6 for more information. And Meredith, in some cases, that family reunification is as easy as bringing them back together and then working with them as a unit to rebuild those relationships. But in some cases, it is something that has to be done separately while slowly reunifying those bonds. And in some cases that means, like you said, putting them in your facilities or in a foster care program. So let's talk about that, about the latter in particular, the foster care program. Talk about how that is orchestrated through your organization and what you're looking for in a foster parent and those relationships.
Yes, thank you. So we have a very dedicated staff in our foster care department, and we are looking for foster parents. So individuals who are caring, supportive, and want to welcome and open their home to children. We are definitely in great need. We have homes within Wayne County, Oakland, and in Macomb County. And we want to continue to serve and expand. So it is very important. And we have a very thorough process that our team engages for those who are interested. So the first step is to actually engage into our orientation process. And so there you be greeted there with our staff and be able to ask as many questions as needed, get all the answers that you need in order to make that informed decision that you want to continue with that process. Through that intensive orientation process, then it continues on with our training. So we focus on our GROW training, which actually prepares those who are very interested what the realities are with taking a young person into their home. And then from there, additional training such as CPR and first aid training and so forth. We have our foster home development specialists that will walk each process and step through so that it's a successful licensing process at the end. Some of the basic requirements that we look for, again, is to ensure that as we engage with the individual, any of their health status and income status and so forth, this ensure that everything is aligned to be able to take, children who may be of an infant stage on up to from a teenage age. So this ensure that those things are met. Again, assuring that all the documentation that we will need to be able to assure a successful application and to move towards to completion of a licensure. So it's a very exciting process. We have many of those who have gone through that and have been foster parents for us for many years, but we definitely are looking for many foster parents to come as we continue to expand and to thrive.
More information can be found and ways to get in contact with them as well at VistaMaria.org. And Meredith, as we continue to talk about these relationships being built with parents or with foster parents to these to kids or through families that may have been separated by a trauma and need to be reunified. A big part of this that factors in, especially for those kids who have gone through a trauma, is it is life-changing, it is life-altering, and in some cases life-shattering, and that can affect them in other ways and in other areas of their life, particularly their academic life. And as we think about that, you think about the stalling of their academics as they're going through this different state that they're in, and they're coming to terms with some of those things that have traumatized them or those experiences that they've been through. That can set them back a while, and those setbacks can lead to further setbacks down the road that puts them in this cycle of different forms of trauma through life. So that academic side is really important. Tell us about your academic services and how you factor that in too as you're treating these individuals.
Oh, absolutely. So again, one of our care philosophies is that education is power. So, so with that, we do value education ultimately. And through that, on our campus, we do have a middle school education and high school education. And definitely our youth and care have an extensive educational program. Our teachers are trauma informed. So based on what you just mentioned, you're right, there's a lot of life changing factors. And form, but the education system, whether they can maintain in the school system where they originally resided, or there are other opportunities for them educationally. And I think it's also important to note for not only just for the day-to-day education components, but even what happens after school. And I think that's also that ongoing learning opportunities, whether it's through life skills programming or activities, or something that be able to continue for that learning environment that supports the education role for our kids. Oftentimes our kids definitely have career aspirations. So to be able to have them the opportunity to be exposed to different college tours and so forth, we definitely do here on our campus. So I think to your point, education is such a critical aspect, and we want to make sure that's one of those consistent factors. And how do we do that in a trauma-informed way?
More information can be found to get in contact with them, VistaMaria.org. You can also call them toll-free, 800-7-VISTA-6. That's 800-7-VISTA-6 for more information. Meredith, about a minute left before we'll need to say goodbye. Anything else that we haven't discussed today that would be important for our audience to keep in consideration about your organization at this time?
Yes. At Vista Maria, we are truly dedicated. We are considered to be our fearless hearts. So we are dedicated to our families and to our communities overall. In addition, we always continue to look for persons who want to join our organization and our mission. So we have several career opportunities. If you just check out our website and look for those and see what might be interest of you. But thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, glad to have you on to talk about this as you're helping so many people in a number of different ways, including entire families getting back together after experiences of trauma that may be for somebody as an individual or for an entire group of people. Regardless, it's always going to be a multifactorial effort. Meredith, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
You as well. VistaMaria.org or ShareDetroit.org for more information. That does it for today's edition of the Megacast. You can always keep up to date with us on CivicCenterTV.com/Megacast. Big thank you to our guests and our crew for making this program possible today. Until next time, take care of each other, and we'll see you very soon.